This podcast brought to you by Digital Diamond Entertainment.
All right, Vex, run the intro.
So when am I getting paid for this?
Kind of like a podcast, sort of, but not really. We're podcast-ish.
What's this ish? What do you mean ish? Hey, you guys tripping that way?
Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the Podcast-ish podcast, where us four assholes dig through the bullshit to get to the bottom of human behavior. We believe words are important, and the facts don't give a fuck about your feelings. So sit back and strap in, because this week, the set goes in on freedom of speech. And a little caveat before we get this one started. I know it says 13 and above. This one should be 18 and above. And listen, if you are easily offended, you need to leave now. I will give you 5 seconds before I start my rant.
Nah, man, to hell with that. If you're easily offended, toughen up, buttercup.
Toughen up,
buttercup.
Toughen up, buttercup. I know his accent's a little difficult to understand.
They said toughen up, buttercup. I was like, yeah, gets the point across too.
Yeah, no. Let's watch my gains there, Will.
Are you high? You're high.
High as shit. All right, well, let's get intros out of the way.
I'm mic 3, I'm low. Very low.
Oh, he's low. I'm mic
low.
2. I'm a little high.
I got you.
Check 1.
You good on here, fam?
Okay, he's got it.
You want to stop it and hear it?
Yeah,
Hold up.
I'm showing up.
That was fun.
That was fun. Let's get intros out of the way, guys. To my left.
I'm Will Hayes.
That's to my right.
Still me. Well, they didn't hear me anyways.
Your mic's off.
My mic was turned all the way down. I forgot to
All
turn it
right,
down.
no, to your left, John Vex, the inevitable gorilla, otherwise known as the Galdem Sugar, the caramel experience. And if you don't like it, learn to love it.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah, I was going to cuss something, but...
You're scared of...
No, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm just trying to be proper.
All right. And to my right, your left.
Will Hayes, free speech is not for free. Pay me. Fuck you, pay me. Colloquialisms.
Colloquialisms.
Those two. Haikus.
Haiku.
Double entendres.
Locus.
If any of these shit's even said in the park, I want a piece of that pie.
How come you get crazy every week, dog? I love it.
Shit.
And I'm Pernell Ramlow, a.k.a. Podcast P, a.k.a. Potty Mouth P, a.k.a. Johnny Adlibs, a.k.a. Stank Mouth, a.k.a. Yeah, a.k.a. Yoga Fire.
Yoga Flame.
Yoga Flame, a.k.a. Everyone is entitled to my opinion, a.k.a. The Unruly Coolie. Let's get this show going. As you heard in the intro, we are talking about the freedom of speech. And this one's going to be difficult. It's going to be a little serious. Maybe not so serious, because we're not serious guys.
We always serious, man. How you mean?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, boy. Let's go.
Run it! What do you guys know about freedom of speech?
What do I know about it?
Yeah.
It exists on paper.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, very true. And I know it's an offshoot of the Magna Carta.
Right.
Not the Jay-Z album.
Yeah, not the Jay-Z
Not
album.
the Holy Grail.
It is the Magna Carta has laid the foundation for a lot of, shall we say, former British colonies that all employ some form of freedom of speech. Each one has their own version based on the Magna Carta. I also know that our freedoms of speech are being eroded, it seems, by the minute.
Right, we'll get to that.
Right,
Sure
so I am getting more and more vex the more they get eroded.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, yeah.
So
I mean,
I'll be
that,
going from
but
John Vex to John Vexer.
John Vexa.
Listen,
John Morvex.
John Morvex.
John Morvex. I just want to address a comment. Karthik, you are a funny motherfucker. He just says, so when is Will Hayes getting paid?
When am I getting paid?
From the intro.
Yo, from the intro. Shout out to you, Karthik, man. You hilarious as shit. Will, what do you think, man? What do you know about freedom of speech?
I believe motherfuckers freedom of speech is a fucking scapegoat for people to say whatever the fuck they want and kind of duck under the responsibility of what they said and how it affects people around them. Everybody thinks freedom of speech doesn't come with the responsibility of speech.
It's true.
Agreed.
They think it doesn't have any
Agreed,
ramifications.
So when a motherfucker says, hey, yo, that pissed me off, don't say that shit, or don't da-da-da-da, you shouldn't say that shit, or if you say that, we're gonna fight, then the first thing they're up to is freedom of speech, dude. It's a free country. Da, da, da.
Yeah. And
well, you know what? It punching you in the mouth is more illegal than you talking shit. So I'm gonna go spend a night in the drunk tank.
Right, and unfortunately in Canada we don't have as much freedom of speech as we would like to think as the USA does. So I'm gonna read a little thing off a report that I've seen, or a paper that was published June 12, 2017, from Michael Head, history, religion, and poli-sci major at UGA. And he starts with, the US and Canada have similar overlapping values when it comes to free speech. However, freedom of speech never mean you have the unlimited right to say whatever you want. For example, Schenck versus United States established the clear and present danger test, which says basically you can say what you want as long as it does not endanger or hurt other people.
Right.
This means you cannot yell fire in a movie theater, for example, if there is no fire. When it comes to the media, it depends legally. You can say anything you want, but that does not mean the court of public opinion will not hold you liable for your words. As for Canada, the Canadian Human Rights Act does not allow for any hateful propaganda. This means no hate speech in essence. Also, Canada has a law that states that in the case of wartime, the federal cabinet can censor the media. So
I think that makes sense.
Really?
Yeah, if it's wartime, I really don't want our enemy. Can I finish?
Yes.
I really don't want our enemies knowing what the fuck we doing. Censor the media until war's over.
I can see how it would work in these times. Censor social media maybe, but not censor the news feed into our television.
Yeah, we don't need to know everything.
It depends on what they're censoring too,
You may
right?
not need to know everything.
But not only that, let me put it this way. If the government is involved in something immoral or illegal,
We should know.
call it war,
Right.
and then we're going to censor free speech, then that's a problem, right? So there's many ways that can be abused.
Okay.
There's many ways that has been abused.
Yeah, well,
We look at Iraq the first time, second time.
the 500th time, because
yeah.
there's always war in Iraq.
Look at Africa,
Yeah, there's always war in Africa.
Mexico,
Mexico is war-torn.
Brooks, Alberta.
Brooks, Alberta is a hellhole.
It is. Brooks, Alberta. Yo, Brooks, Alberta is the ugliest fucking town. And I'm not talking about people. I'm talking, this is the gloomiest fucking place you could be. There's
I've never
always a
been.
cloud over Brooks, Alberta, fam.
For real, eh?
Always. Fucking depressing.
It really is.
Yeah,
Brooks is fucking depressing.
you might trigger some people from there, man.
Well, who's from Brooks? Nobody's really from Brooks. People go to Brooks to work at the meat processing plant. I don't even know if that's open anymore. I can't remember what. That was in the news a little while ago, 10 years ago.
What, the Cargill plant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
you finished the article or you still on
No,
more?
I'm not reading the article anymore. I just want to
Okay.
get your kind of opinions on this stuff, what's going on here. Now, the USA has obviously a lot less stringent laws. The First Amendment allows people to have freedom of speech, and it still can incite violence as long as the violence is not immediate. Believe it or not.
Technically.
Technically,
Technically.
yeah.
Okay.
Technically.
So, but the USA really does have a good knack, and I don't know, like, it sucks and it's fucked up. But I'm kind of like, I can't knock the hustle. They're really good at picking and choosing who and what gets to follow the guidelines of their.
Oh, yeah, man.
Constitution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Absolutely.
Like, so the freedom of speech thing is crazy. It depends on where you are and all that shit. But I mean, but we have to look at the different levels. Public freedom of speech when you're representing a company, freedom of speech when you're employed by a company, freedom of speech when you're in a daycare, freedom of speech when you're in a airport.
Right.
There's different levels to
Well,
it. Right?
let me read the levels to you then. This last week has been filled with learning about freedom of speech, not only here but in the U.S. And it's very strange how many things are different and how they differ from country to country. USA is probably one of the only countries in the world with the amount of freedom of speech the actual people have, the residents
Right.
have.
On paper.
On paper.
Right.
Now, you are allowed to pretty much say anything, except as long as it's not slanderous to your boss. If you work for a company and you slanderous to them, First Amendment doesn't apply.
Right.
However, if that boss is the government, you can say whatever you want.
Okay, so the First Amendment does not apply, meaning that in the US, if I slander my boss, I can go to jail.
If you slander your boss, you can probably get fired or go to jail.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't
unless
think
your
you
boss
could-
is the U.S. government.
Then I can slander them and nothing will happen.
Yes, and you can't. There can be no repercussions
I don't
as
think
long
you
as you
can
can prove
go-
it was a public opinion.
I don't think you can go to jail if you slander your boss. You will have, if you slander your boss in the U.S., you're subject to, if that what you said broke any type of laws or led to harm or something like that to your
Yeah.
boss or to the company, but you'll face the full ramifications of that company. And before
Of course,
you
you can be fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And before you fired, fined, pay restitutions,
Yeah.
sued. Well, it's the state, so you definitely will be sued. But before you even go there and work there, they make you sign a contract saying
Like
this
a
is our
non-disclosure
guidelines.
agreement
Yeah.
and all kind of thing, yeah.
You can't say this about the company. If you do say this about the company or have an opinion about the company's works, you need to make it perfectly clear that you do not represent or speak for the company.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why you see that all the time in media
Yeah.
and whatnot, where they'll have a disclaimer saying the opinions in this interview do not reflect those of the company.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
whatever, yeah.
Right, and it's pretty crazy that you can say the same thing working for a public company or working for a private company and get fired and maybe go to jail, or and if you say the same thing when you're working for a government company, they can't touch you. It's the strangest thing, because freedom of speech in the United States was made so that you can hold the government accountable,
Yeah, you could be protected
Yeah.
from tyranny.
right? Now,
I think that kind of makes sense what you just said, though.
yeah, well, notwithstanding
The
position-
company and the government.
Yeah, notwithstanding the positions in the courts, though, there's a disagreement in public opinions within each country over whether hate speech should be forbidden by law.
Yeah, well, that to me is a very slippery slope, right? Because one man's hate speech is another man's rallying cry, right? So, I mean, how do you define hate speech really? Do I define hate speech as something that I don't want to hear? In that case, you know what? Stop slandering Catholics, because that's hate speech,
I think-
right? Or is it determined by the people who are in power, right? So the people who are in power say you can say whatever you want about Christians, but say nothing about Muslims. Right? Which so that leads me to something I heard a little while ago, and it makes sense to me. If you want to determine who rules over you, determine who you are not allowed to criticize. Right? So these days you're not allowed to criticize what? Transgender, gay, and Muslim.
Oh no! Wait till you hear this podcast.
Right? So
So, but I think the whole thing is
We're
is
just
like,
getting started, Cole.
yeah.
but
No.
when
I'm
those
saying
type of things-
what technically you're not allowed to criticize,
You-
right?
but this
I
is-
don't give a damn.
But that's different.
Yeah.
We can say you can criticize them. There's no law saying you can't criticize them.
Oh, wait till
When-
we get to Bill C-16.
Wait, yeah.
Wait, I know we're gonna but does that law is Bill C-16 passed yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, but so if you, I thought the law dictated this: you can criticize or say what you want about whatever, but when it gets to the point where it's threatening in nature,
No.
or if it would incite any type of harm, then you can't say it.
Not Bill C-16, my friend. It's scary. It's very Orwellian. It's very, very
Are you typing it
1984.
right now? I'm typing. I got it up. You want to read it for yourself? You want me to read it?
Well, I'm gonna have it up too, just so I can
Okay.
look at it. Shit.
Okay. So yeah, we're not going to get into Bill C-16 quite yet. But it was passed November 18th, 2016. So 2 years ago, almost to the day. There's free speech versus respect for others.
Yeah.
And a balance must be achieved. Right? That's kind of where you were going with this, right?
Well, no, not even a balance must be achieved, so to speak, because again, balance in my eyes would be unbalanced in somebody else's eyes, right? I am I'm a big proponent of say what you want to say, right?
Right.
So long as you're not calling for violence, anything up to that point is fine by me. Even if I'm offended, because
Right.
at the end of the day, if you want to bring some bad ideas to the public square, and I'm talking as far as adults go, right? Don't bring bad ideas to children. Don't tell them 2 + 2 is 15 or some nonsense, right?
Well,
but hold on,
Okay.
But you bring bad ideas into the public square, they can be rebutted and shown for the nonsense that they are,
Right.
right? So if you start stifling free speech, then every time a bad idea comes up, you're not allowed to discuss it because you might offend someone, right? And I'll go into this really quickly here. With the whole transgender movement right now, the real way to treat transgender people is through psychotherapy, right? The real humane way to do it is through psychotherapy. It has been proven time and time again. I am not going to cite any papers. If you guys don't want to be lazy and actually look it up for yourselves, go ahead, please do it, right? But at the end of the day, it's come down to you can't say anything bad about transgender people because it might offend them. Okay, that being said, if I'm leaving you in your delusion, then you're going to do more harm to yourself than good.
Right. And
Right?
that goes for any topic that's kind of controversial in these days,
Right?
too, right?
So this is my whole point.
Right.
Bring the bad ideas to the public square for a discussion. And let us have a logical, open discussion about them.
Right.
Not hide behind, I'm offended by what you're saying because my feelings.
Absolutely.
Bullshit.
Absolutely. I'm a big proponent. There's actually, I don't know if you guys know who Jordan Peterson is. He's was a professor of psychology or philosophy at University of Toronto, and he's tenured. He's doing a tour right now with Sam Harris, a very outspoken atheist, also scientist, two very brilliant gentlemen, and they have very different views on the world and how people see the world.
Yeah.
And they're going around holding public forum. They're doing a tour to have open discussion with people involved and start conversations, almost like this podcast is doing.
Yeah.
Except they're doing it live. I really enjoy the series. Just look up Sam Harris versus Jordan Peterson on YouTube. You'll find it. They were in Vancouver a little while ago. They're coming to Calgary, Edmonton, all that fun stuff. But others argue that how do I put this? Others argue that if certain words might be prohibited as hate speech, depending how they're subjectively interpreted, there could be a chilling effect on controversial speech in general.
Well, again,
even speech which should be protected.
Yeah, but again, to me, all free speech should be protected, right? All speech should be protected as long as it does not call for violence against somebody.
Okay, well, let's
right?
before we go any further, let's define speech as the law determines it.
I don't think. No.
You don't want to define speech?
No. Sorry, my bad. I don't think all speech should be protected. You should have, if you say something and it has negative recourse.
Yeah, this is why I
should be like, but with that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always inciting something, right? You can, if you walk down the street and just say and just yell out fuck niggers, da da da. You need to be maybe not thrown in jail, but you need to be pulled aside by somebody and be like, listen. For your own safety, maybe you should stop doing this.
Yeah.
So I don't think all speech should be protected. But in the same breath, I do believe that no speech should be suppressed.
Right. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I like where you're going. The protection and the suppression in this case are almost identical, and let me tell you why.
In Canada.
Yeah. So you have people that can literally walk down the street and say fuck niggers, fuck niggers, fuck niggers, right? And I say this all. I think I say it on every damn podcast. I will defend somebody's right to say whatever the hell they want, right? I don't necessarily have to agree with their opinion, but I'll fight to my death for their right to say it. That doesn't mean that what they're saying is right, that I agree with it. In fact, I might punch that dude in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But their right to say it to me means more than somebody saying you can't say that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you get down to a slippery slope now, right? So again, we're talking about subjective things now.
Right.
Let me just define speech as the law does it, just so you guys weren't aware. So a little bit of history on it. In ancient oral societies, speech literally referred to spoken word.
Right.
Later, speech becomes the content of media, from writing to telephone,
Of
broadcasting, and the internet.
Yeah.
All components of the new oral society.
Yeah.
And that is from Gasher in 2012. So that's where we stand now, as speech is considered lawful. So anything you write, anything you text, anything you put on the internet, that is all considered speech.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that being said, doing a podcast, I think I should go back and erase some of the things I've said earlier. Now that I've done all the studies.
No, just let them know that not everything you say is a representative of Digital Diamond
but
or its subsidiaries.
Not only that, we're on a learning path as well, right?
Right.
So we're here to learn as much as we can.
All right.
And hopefully educate people along the way.
Okay.
Right. Nah, man, but that, to me, that makes sense, right? It needs to cover all of that. And what I was going to say is, once you start trying to censor what is correct and what is incorrect,
right?
Again, to the point of what is violent and what isn't,
okay,
right? And I mean, let's be real. You have to be a complete low IQ dummy to not be able to recognize what is inciting violence and what isn't.
Right. But even to recognize it, you don't have to even be a low IQ dummy. You just have to be someone who likes to hide behind the freedom of speech.
Yeah, or someone denying reality, right?
It's freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want. It's not my. It's not. Yeah, just not even denying reality. It's somebody that denies responsibility.
Yeah. Right.
I can say whatever I want. It's not in my power how these people react to. It's not my power. But you know full well.
Yeah, being willfully ignorant.
Words have more power than
Well, yeah, the pen is mightier than the sword, right?
Yeah.
As they say. But so my whole point is, once you start censoring anything within reason, right? And I'm using that with the hope that everyone listening understands what within reason means. Once you start determining within reason what can and cannot be said, then it's a slippery slope, right? You start getting into this very slippery slope that's been shown time and time again. Let's look at communist China. Let's look at the USSR. Let's look at Vietnam, etc., etc. Right? All of these places started going, hey, you're not allowed to say this about the so-and-so government, or you're not allowed to say this about so-and-so people, or these people don't have a voice, right?
Which led to incarceration. And
which led to incarceration, which led to a mass exodus out of China. I know two of my great-grandparents left China because of that, which led to, you start suppressing any voice that might be dissident, and you have a tyrannical government now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Now, as far as I'm concerned, and I know we'll get into it a little later, with Bill C-16 being passed, we are seeing the first steps to a tyrannical government in Canada. You might not believe me or you might not agree with me, but there's always a notch to boil the frog.
Well, yeah, and I feel you. Now,
Right?
there's
So,
nothing in the bill that says anything as far as you're not allowed to say this anymore. And when they're changing, I'm sorry, I'm moving this, but I'm trying to make sure I don't move that. When they start changing different words in the anthem and everything like that, there's nothing in Bill C-16 that says that has to be there. But they used Bill C-16 for the ability to change that.
Yeah.
So I'm going through. I read through. I have the government House of Commons page up, and I was going through the actual bill. Unless you went to law school, we don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm on Wikipedia, which may not be the best.
No, it's definitely not
What
the
do you
best.
mean? But this
It is number one for our source of information. Let's go.
It basically, the law amends the Human Rights Act by adding some gender identity or expressions and things like that. But it still focuses on discriminatory talk, and that's where the slippery slope comes in.
Yeah.
To where now, if you have huge lobbyist groups that say this type of speech is discriminatory, then you're gonna have you're gonna have repercussions and changes in different types of culture and changes in different types of everything.
Yeah.
To where now these need to be said this way. Like how we can't say retarded anymore. We can't say midget anymore.
Yeah.
Can't say faggot anymore. You
Can't say fag anymore.
Can't say
But-
tranny anymore. There's a bunch of things you can't
With
say.
with fag, I understood fag since I have gay friends who I've not any way to equate it to any type of black anything, but they said a part of me feels how you would feel if dudes were like that nigger rig joke.
Yeah.
And they're saying nigger rig. They're not saying it like, oh, fuck niggers or da-da-da, right? And when I say, oh, that shit's gay or stop being a fag, I'm not even talking about a dick in the butt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my gay friends are like, okay, you know what, though? This makes me specifically feel that way. So I said, okay, I'm going to make a conscious decision to try and change my speech.
Yeah, you
And
just
that's
say batty boy now, right?
Yeah, but I don't even say anything. Like, at the end of the day, like, now when I think something stupid, I'm like, that's white. No, but
Stop being so fucking sensitive, you social
but the whole
justice
thing
warrior.
is like I'm not changing it because of a huge lobbyist group it thinks da 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 da. I'm changing that because
You're changing it out of common sense. Yeah.
Personal friends of mine are like, this makes me feel a type of way.
Yeah.
It's up to you if you want to change it,
Right.
but at the end of the day, it makes your friend feel a type of way. So what are you gonna do? It's like, okay,
and
cool,
I've had,
you know.
And I've had gay friends tell me the opposite, where they said they don't care. It's yeah, whatever. I call myself a faggot too. I don't care. You know, so there's different. Like, I'm going to use Will's terms here. There's different levels to it, right? I'm going to read off a list of banned words and problematic words in U.S. Universities or U.S.
And I'm going to try to
colleges.
incorporate all of them into this
We are going to say
podcast.
them all. I'm going to say them
This
all
is
right
the
now.
26
Right.
words you cannot say on television.
Right. No, this is and these are going to surprise you. Banned words: crazy, gay, fake news, lame, politically correct.
Let's start from the first one and let's try and decipher as to why. Let's try and come with some.
No, let me
let's
read-
be sensible and be like, why would this be banned? If we can even think it, because there's that from the first list, I can't think of a way. So a reason why they'd be
Right.
banned.
Okay,
So I'm
yeah.
like pulling shit out
All
of
right,
my
let
head.
me just finish this quick list real quick. Banned words still: insane, male and female,
Male and female.
invalid,
Okay.
and the phrase "Where are you from?" Those are all banned words. Problematic words are healthy, rich, poor, elders, exotic, skill set, and overweight. If you don't think this is SJW taking over, which is social justice warriors taking over and trying to limit how people are speaking because they feel offended, then you're wrong.
This
Well,
is, no,
completely
it's not.
is.
It's not social justice warriors taking over. It's It's colleges trying to protect themselves.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not that.
This
It's not that
is
at all.
student unions that had to go to college and say we don't want these here.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So-
so student unions went to the colleges.
Yeah.
Right, so it's SJ.
Not the way around. Not the other way around.
I know that. To continue, who made the final decision?
I guess the student union.
No, they didn't, because
No.
the student unions can say you can't say this, you can't say this. The college say, what the fuck you mean? You can say what the fuck ever you want.
Yeah.
The college only and probably went through it and said fine. These are the words we'll pick out of there because
Right.
they're protecting themselves.
Right.
You get your students to rally up against you.
Well,
your college is going down in flames.
and that's
so
the
they're
pro-
protecting themselves against.
Right.
the
But then,
SGA.
but then here's the
Wait,
thing:
wait,
does
wait.
the
Hold on,
student
hold on.
union? Does the student union actually represent the bulk of the college students?
No, they represent
Right?
50 liberal fucktards.
So, but here's the thing, and this is a slight tangent, slight aside, with regards to colleges. I remember seeing an interview that was done in, I believe, 1986 with a KGB defector,
Okay.
right? He was being interviewed on US TV, and the whole interview was about KGB techniques to destabilize a country, right? So he was saying, a lot of people think that it's the James Bond type spy versus spy type scenario. He's like, that accounts for about 30% of what we do.
Okay.
He's like, the other 70% of what we do is literally go into a country and destabilize it from the interior. One of the methods he says they use is to get professors into the colleges and universities to start teaching this type of propaganda to people, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Once you have disillusioned the youth, they go on to become disillusioned adults and they teach their children nonsense, right? So remember, this is 1986. Okay, this is 22 years ago?
Right in the Cold War, yeah.
Right? No, 32 years ago, sorry. 32 years ago.
Where's
Right.
Mikey for our quick math?
So 32 years ago, this was going on. And even before that, even prior to that,
Right.
there is great evidence that we are now seeing that, like, so to speak, the chickens have come home to roost, right? Or the hens have come home to roost in the sense that with all of this SJW, censoring speech, policing what people say, going off of feelings, etc., etc., this is the direct result of what we have seen happen in universities.
Absolutely.
Right? Poor education system, people being raised to be absolute sissies, right? And the administrations allowing this to happen and encouraging it to happen, right?
Right.
I was watching one guy the other day, a YouTuber called Brandon Tate, right? Police officer, very conservative guy. And he was saying, with all this free speech nonsense that's going on, censoring of free speech, he's like, bullying is a very good thing because it teaches you how to toughen up and fight back.
Absolutely.
The world is not a nice place, right? So you
Yeah.
need to be able to deal with it. So anyway, I don't talk on that right now, but if for all people listening, toughen yourselves up, please, because at the end of the day, when you see somebody from somewhere else, let's say Trinidad, come to your country and start raising hell, how are you going to handle it?
Yeah. No,
Right?
I agree. It's
Get
like
hurt feelings, behave yourself.
we're having way too many people feel offended and feel maybe slighted or abused by words.
Yeah,
I
remember,
remember
offense is taken, not given.
Right, I say it all the time. Right, there was hold on. There was a very common children's song we had growing up. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words shall never hurt me.
Right.
Where the fuck did we go wrong?
Well, I can tell you where we went wrong. That's what the fuck? No, we
Yeah.
back. That song is bullshit.
Okay.
Number one, sticks and stones may break our bones, but I've seen motherfuckers destroy lives with words. A. B. I think we went wrong because we didn't go wrong by allowing people to express how they feel. We went wrong with not allowing people to address how people address people's feelings properly.
Yeah.
So now when someone expresses that they're offended, our first step is to, cancel all that offensive shit. Instead of talking to the person about
Right.
why do you feel offended? Why is this offending you? Why did the person say that?
Yep.
What can we do to come to a happy medium? Instead of saying, oh, that offends me, cancel all of it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We're in
Right.
the cancel culture. So at the end of the day, people should feel offended if somebody says something that offends them.
Right.
But they should be able to address it, talk about it, and the person and if they go to a committee, if they go to the government, if they go to a body that has power, maybe a session with these groups as to why they feel offended, what about this is making them offended, and maybe have a list of these words are offensive. try to use them liberally. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or not liberally.
Or not liberally, or whatever. Whatever. Try to use them sparingly.
This
Like,
all
Sparingly,
started,
good word.
This all started when we were kids. Or not when we were kids, but when 10, 15 years ago, when they started giving kids eighth place ribbons, right? Eighth place ribbons. Fuck, that's hard to say.
Yeah, because you start putting that mindset out there now, right?
That it's okay to fail. That it's okay to it's okay. You're still a champion in our eyes.
No, you're not.
But
it's
it is
not okay
it is,
to fail.
But no, it's 100% okay to fail.
But it's not
when
okay
you
to
fail,
not learn from
rewarded.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Rewarded
When
for
you
failure.
fail and you're
Agreed.
rewarded,
Agreed.
then you have the issue.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can still be a champ, but I'm not gonna give you a fucking trophy for
Oh,
failing.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Did you learn something from that shit?
No.
Okay,
Right.
now
That's
go
the
get
problem,
your trophy.
yeah.
You know what? Gary
That's the
now
problem.
go get your
Gary
trophy.
Vaynerchuk says it the best. He says, "Listen, I play little like the little Dunkaroos basketball, the little Fisher Price ones."
He said it better than you.
No, I know a lot better than me. But he said I play with my kid.
The
and
Dunkaroo basketballs?
my kid will never score a basket on me until he can actually score a basket. I'm not
Yeah, you're
losing
not-
to my
you're not-
fucking
yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
I don't care how much he cries. I'm not losing to my kid because he needs to learn failure now.
Yeah.
My daughter beats the shit out of me every day. She's the toughest person in the house.
Right. I'm like my kid. Like we'll play football on like Xbox, whatever way, play stuff, and he'll win, and I'll be like, "Hey, you won," and he'll actually win, right? Because I'm trying. Or when I win, I'm like, "Hey, man, you lost. Sorry." And he'll be like, go off and cry. I'm like, "See ya. I'll keep playing." You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you have to teach kids how to accept things they aren't happy with. Instead of caving all the time, right? And that's where I think we're getting into these whole free speech and what words are banned now in universities and colleges. These kids have grown up and said, okay, well, I haven't been offended all my life. Now I'm getting offended by some people's views that are now in my life. How do I stop this, right? Instead of learning how to deal with that, just like Will said.
And even with the letting your kid, I do think Vaynerchuk. The only reason why I remember his name because that's weird, but
It's a memorable name.
it is Vaynerchuk should let his kids at least score some baskets.
No, it's funny.
Because if he's
got that
banning them
mindset
all the way,
that's
how's
fucking
he
hilarious.
gonna learn to score?
To
a
actually
basket?
score, yeah.
You know
No,
what
there
I'm
is
saying?
definitely. Yeah,
This
no, and
nigga
I agree.
now he's
I
all
agree.
of this shit. No.
He goes, the kid can learn to shoot without me there, man. Fuck that. You
Yo.
can break 1,000 practice shots like Kobe Bryant or MJ, man. Fuck that. He's not scoring without me.
That's fucking hilarious.
What up, John?
But one of them things is like, yeah, I take that. Like the kid loses, don't let the kid win. You know, go a little bit easy on him. If I'm like playing with my daughter, if we're playing Street Fighter or something like that, I'll let her win the first round. You know what I'm saying?
And then come back and obliterate her perfect two
Oh
times.
yeah, whoop her ass. But then she instead of her crying, I'm like, do you want to know how Daddy did that? And she'll come back and be like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so this is how you do the Hadouken and shit, right?
Right, so you're
Like,
teaching
what
the
the fuck?
technique
Yeah,
instead of being
exactly.
like, no, I
Like,
just won, whatever,
If you,
right?
and at the end of the day, if you want to have a temper tantrum and cry, go ahead. I'd rather hear my daughter cry than not hear anything from my daughter at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Quiet
Yeah.
House is a scary house, eh?
Especially with a 5-year-old, with
Yeah,
a
I'm
5-year-old
telling
Jamaican baby.
Yo, I got a 6-year-old Guyanese at home. Are you fucking kidding me? I know exactly how it
The
is.
house is, dude. This is, you know what? Kids is a whole fucking.
Yeah,
I can't.
that's a whole
I'll
other
go on
topic.
for hours about
Listen,
my
I want
kids,
to.
fam.
I want to go into. So obviously, freedom of speech in Canada is very limited. Is there's some things that I think we should be able to say in Canada that we can't.
So limited how? Because at the end of the day, who has been locked up over speech? Whose freedoms have been removed over speech?
Listen, freedom
Well-
comes in many different levels, right? Freedom comes in speech, in territory, or it's not just your being behind bars.
When
right.
freedom of speech means you're free to speak without government involvement.
Yeah, without the law having
censorship,
come down.
or
Yeah,
removing.
That's
So-
that's where we're getting across is Canada does not have freedom
So
of speech.
but we do.
No, we
do
don't.
not.
We have freedom
No,
of
we
speech.
do
We
not.
We
have
don't.
freedom of speech. We just don't. We just have higher penalties for
No,
what you
actually,
say.
no, we don't.
actually
Not
not at
even.
all.
Okay, so
Not even.
Okay,
Okay, so the prevailing Canadian approach might be described as freedom with responsibility. Statute is officially reviewed as a legitimate method for countering embedded racism and bigotry. Journalist Jonathan Kay argues Canada's human rights law is a product of the 1960s, when much of our society truly was shot through with bigotry and prejudice.
Thank
Kay
you,
is
Trudeau.
Kay is referring to the Canadian Human Rights Act of 2015, which contains various anti-discrimination provisions that include a section outlawing the communication of hate messages by telephone or on the internet, until that particular section was replaced in 2012 by a conservative government, apparently responding to the public opinion which felt the law went too far. However, hate speech remains criminalized in the Criminal Code of Canada and provincial status.
okay. So this is hate speech.
Yeah,
There's
now here's where it gets
between,
sticky.
there's a difference between hate speech and expressing your views. Now, the hate speech, that's there. I definitely agree. There is a really hate speech is in such a gray area to where you'll have people who won't get the same penalties for saying the same thing.
Right.
It's such a gray area. Now, but there's the freedom of speech may not be Canada's freedom of speech may not be what everybody thinks it is, but that's on both sides.
What do you mean both sides?
You're not legal ramifications aren't as like what you guys are trying to put out to legal ramifications of saying, oh, he's a tran or that's my tranny friend or
Right.
da da da. Legal ramifications are that. Now the freedom of speech, when you work for a corporation or a company other than the government.
That's in the U.S.
Not in Canada.
Not in
yeah.
Canada.
It is in Canada. There has been people that have lost their jobs
Okay.
in Canada because of what they said on social media.
Right, absolutely.
And it's not hate speech.
According
It's
to the
offensive.
According to the Canadian government, it is.
Okay, but I'm not
Or the
talking
company
about
is.
the Canadian government did not fire them.
Okay.
And the company didn't fire them for fucking hate speech.
No, they fired
the
him
company
for outrage
fired
from public opinion.
Okay,
right?
now I'm going to continue.
Okay.
Every time you finish my sentence and you're wrong,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and I'll correct you after.
okay, because I'm talking about
go
a
ahead.
specific situation
All right.
that I've seen. So I don't know how you can tell me you're wrong because you weren't there.
Okay, continue.
The company fired them for speaking a language or speaking phrases that went against the company's policy, including and not limited to offensive terms based off of race, religion, sexual orientation, all that bullshit. It wasn't a government thing.
Okay.
So there's still freedom of speech because he did not lose his freedom for saying what he said. But there was the responsibility of speech, whereas he lost his job for saying that shit.
Yeah, you're talking on a corporate level.
On a
right?
corporate
Yeah.
level.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm saying freedom of speech, it may not be what we think it is, but it's still there because you're not really losing your freedom over your speech.
But I think what needs to be clarified is within a company's situation, there is a certain code of behavior that you need to follow, right? Depending on the job, of course.
Right.
Right. So I wouldn't expect a garbage man to not swear.
Right.
Right. And lose his job for saying F this
Right.
or something. Right. But on the other hand, if I'm before a judge and the judge looks at me and says, you dumb N-word, get the F to jail, that should be a fireable offense.
Right.
But now that being said, to me that is divergent from the argument being made about what is freedom of speech and what isn't.
Right.
Right? Because if you just take that microcosm of your workplace, then there's a different set of rules that are separate from society.
So tell me where the societal freedom of speech is removed, and I need specific situations.
I think
and
Parnell
the
has something
and the
on deck for
results,
you.
And the results of what happened to this specific person.
Yeah.
All right, let me just bring this kind of whole thing into focus here and we can talk about this. To be sure, there is much disagreement within Canada about the legality of hate speech laws. On one extreme, there's a notorious comment which produced outrage within Canada. Canadian Human Rights Commission investigator Dean Stacey was asked, what value do you give freedom of speech when you investigate? His response, freedom of speech is an American concept, so I don't give it any value. It's not my job to give value to an American concept. That was 2014. On the other side of the argument, philosophy professor Mark Mercer doesn't believe that there's been much benefit for the price of reduced freedom of speech. Canada, and this is quotes, Canada is no better a place in which to live as a result of our many hate speech prosecutions and convictions than it would have been otherwise. That actual hate speakers have been fined and jailed in this country have not improved the condition of marginalized Canadians one iota.
Right.
I don't disagree.
Right. So I
At all.
think what it comes down to.
But no,
I'm-
before what it comes down to, I understand that, and I don't disagree with that. I want to know because
you're looking for
I wanna
specific
know
examples.
specific
Yeah.
examples where
Yeah. Okay.
freedom of speech was the speech was prosecuted by the government.
Okay,
and
so
your freedom was taken away because of your speech.
Let me dive into Bill C-16 then, right? Under Bill C-16, especially when you're talking about transgenders, right? You are now no longer able to misgender someone, right? So if my brethren Steve tomorrow decides that he's a woman, and I still go, hey sir, how are you? And he feels offended because now he wants to be called Miss. not only is that an offense now because of Bill C-16, but I can be fined and thrown into jail because of that.
When has it happened?
Bill Walcott was charged with promoting hate after he distributed flyers in Regina and Saskatoon in 2001 and 2002 that condemned gay sex as immoral. He was found guilty by the Saskatchewan Human Rights Tribunal in 2005. That decision was later appealed and overturned in 2010, so he spent 8 years in jail. And then the tribunal then appealed to the country's top court. On Wednesday, a unanimous decision from the Supreme Court found that most of Saskatchewan's human rights code was constitutional. So
Right.
there's right. So they're
So
saying
that
you
one
can't do
that makes
right?
sense. That makes sense. I mean, I don't know what was on the flyer.
Yeah.
But
No,
I mean, at the end
here's
of the
the
day,
messed
I
up
don't
thing.
think he should have been thrown in jail.
Right.
Yeah.
So here,
But-
I'll give you another one. Okay.
Propaganda is propaganda. That's going to rub somebody the wrong way.
Right. So John Ross Taylor, a self-described fascist, was jailed in Ontario in the 1980s for telephone hate messages.
Stop. If you give me anything before B-16, I'm disregarding it. So you're going to waste your breath.
No, but this is written into Bill
This is
C-16.
written. This is all
When
written
did
into it.
Bill C-16...
All right.
This is written in the Bill C-16. So I want to see, after Bill C-16,
But
what's happening.
you know what? Here's
because
my point.
I
Here's
understand
my
what
point.
you're saying. I'm not totally disagreeing,
Listen,
but I
here's my
want to be
point. Here's
convinced.
my point,
My
right?
thing is I want to be convinced.
If you are convicted, or if someone is convicted of drunk driving, right? They get a fine, they get thrown in jail, they get their car towed,
Right.
right? Am I correct?
For
Okay.
most, yeah.
Yeah. All right. By me saying that this is written within the law, yes. By me saying that I don't need to give you an example of when that happened for it to be actually in the law.
But just
Right,
because,
that's my whole point. My whole
Okay,
point.
I
So
understand
under
that,
Bill
but if I'm not seeing
C-16,
it-
written into the law, regardless of whether this happened or not, written into the law, right?
what
These
is
are the
what is
repercussions.
okay, so what is the so you're telling me written into the law is repercussions. In here, I haven't seen anything as
That's
far
because
as,
you're on Wikipedia.
but I haven't seen anything as far as jail or anything like that. So I want to know. So I'm even searching for what the
The repercussions.
The repercussions are, like,
Bill
what the actual-
Bill C-16 are.
not even that when it's in law.
Mm-hmm.
What are the penalties? Is the first penalty a fine? Is if someone is it only if there's only a penalty if someone expresses to you outrightly, I don't want to be called that, and you continue to call them that. You didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
like I want to know the
here's my
details
point.
of it. If it's such a
Yeah.
gray area, then we don't know what rights are. If it's such a gray area and we can't get the specifics on it,
Yeah.
then we are, as even for people who are against or for BC-16, BC-6, whatever the fuck
Bill
the bill is,
C-16.
we're so misinformed by the government.
Yeah.
None of us are in the right position to know where the fuck we're coming from.
Yeah, I feel you. But
I know the bill's
Yeah.
fucked. I
Yeah.
don't agree with it. So,
Yeah.
but I'm still waiting to see. I know a lot of things that have been put into law that haven't been put into law. There's
Yeah.
laws. There's things that have been put into law. For example, workplace injuries.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bill that forces corporations to take responsibility and to be charged criminally.
Yep.
After the mine
Yeah.
implosion, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know how many companies in Alberta since that was 92? You know how many companies in Alberta have been brought in under that law?
I'm gonna say 0.
0.
Yeah.
The amount of people that have died in workplace injury. When the fucking scaffolding thing fell on that little girl downtown.
Yeah.
Company they got a fine. Okay, so that's my point. Sometimes things go into law and we don't see it. Even if it is in law, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
So if this is in the law, I'm not reading through this. I'm taking y'all's word for it. Fuck it. Like, I'm not disagreeing.
Okay.
I'm not reading through this fucking thing. This thing is written in fucking.
I was
the
gonna-
lawyer that got me off for murder
I
did
was,
not
I was
fucking.
going to send you 2 actual court cases from the court documentation.
So if
I
it
don't think-
happens-
if you don't want to read that, you're not definitely going to not going to read
if
this.
if it happens, it happens.
Listen,
But
if
at
you
the end
guys
of the
listen,
day,
just for your references, guys, if you want everybody that's watching and everybody on the podcast, if you want to look some up, you can look up Morgane Ogre, Morganeoger, and Bill Watcott. That's again the respondent, the complaint and respondent, and that was 1996. And then the newest one that I found right now is the complaint is from a Miss KW. They have anonymized it against Catherine Rogers, who is the school district in Saskatchewan somewhere.
so I can see a lot of complaints coming in.
Right. No, these are actual court cases. You guys can actually read this April 11th, 2017. These ones have gone through. You guys can actually read them all yourself. The conclusions for the reasons set out above are not an application dismissed. So that application went forward, right, and encouraged the parties to take it to the tribunal. So I have to actually look up the tribunal now to see
Yeah,
what the
so
actual
there's a
facts
lot
were.
Can you do me a favor, P?
Yeah.
Can you look up penalties under Bill C-16?
Okay.
So, because I really want to know. I want to know the actual figures. I want to know the actual penalty time for that, because this is the bottom line. As far as I'm concerned, and I want everyone listening to take this to heart. Take this very much to heart, because I've rolled this around in my mind after hearing what this bill contained and what the penalties were for, especially in the case of misgendering someone, right? Misgendering, I say in inverted commas, because your chromosomes determine what sex you are. I don't care what type of science fiction you want to believe. Let's deal in facts. Your chromosomes, XXXY, determine what you are, male or female, right? At the end of the day, if you tell me someone with XY chromosomes should now be referred to as he, as she, or Miss or Mrs., then the bottom line is you are actually forcing me to lie, right? The government is now forcing me to lie. And guess what? The government will not force me to lie. I don't give a damn.
So what does this cover other than the gender thing?
Nothing. This was put in specifically for transgender.
So the only thing under BC16, Bill C16, the only thing that's changed is the amendment to
Right.
For
So
transgender,
I'm going to
yes,
give you
exactly.
Justin Trudeau's actual tweet.
So
Great.
who the fuck gives a fuck? Just address whoever the fuck how they want to
Here's
be
my- here's-
addressed.
here's-
No,
my-
because I
here's
will
my
not
issue.
lie.
It doesn't have to be if you lying or not. If
I am lying.
If someone says they want to be addressed a specific way, respect their wishes, not because the government says
no.
to.
Respect my wishes.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
but it's not. It's
Respect
not
my
your,
wishes.
No, it's not your wishes. If I don't want to be called a certain thing,
But
or
then,
if I want to be
but
called
then
a certain
is it my
name or whatever,
my wishes? I don't want to call you that.
Okay, then don't even address it with their surrogate and say the motherfucker's name. That's my whole fucking point. We're over here. It's a
here's
moot
my
point
issue.
to argue over.
No,
here's like who gives a fuck?
Here's my problem.
We
with
can't
Bill
say he,
C-16.
she,
Just hold on,
he or she.
hold on a
Who
second.
gives a fuck?
Hold on a second. Here's my problem with Bill C-16, and it's I don't know if it's the correct issue to have or if it's the correct way to think about it. This is what I feel about it. Okay, Bill C-16 addresses something that is biologically impossible.
Who gives a fuck? Do you have a dick?
No, because here's the
No,
problem.
this is my thing. But who gives a fuck? Do you have a dick?
No, listen. You're not.
Do you? I understand exactly where y'all coming from.
I don't think you do.
I do.
I don't think you do.
You're saying the government is forcing you to call somebody something that they're not.
Exactly.
Because a lobbyist group
Exactly.
got offended.
Yeah.
And the government.
Exactly.
Okay.
So far, you're correct.
Okay.
So far.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
My point is, who the fuck gives a fuck?
Okay, let me tell you the repercussions. Your 5-year-old goes to school, and all of a sudden the teacher is telling her that a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man, and biologically this is possible. That's a lie.
Okay.
That is untrue. So what ends up happening is your daughter does not have any type of grasp on reality and has no way to figure out what facts are if reality is malleable at somebody's whim. You know what I'm saying? There are greater repercussions than just me. But at the end of the
whole
day,
thing is like you have schools that I went to school and they taught us that the residential school system was the best thing that happened to natives.
right?
I was lied to.
Of course. But now you know that.
Not now. Then I knew that because
Yeah.
I had parents that looked at my shit and said, "Yo, listen, this
Okay.
is what's up." And they said, "Your school is lying to you.
Yes.
Do what you need to do to pass that class.
Yeah.
But they're lying to you."
Okay, now let's take it a step further. The Catholic school board in Alberta has been threatened with defunding because they refuse to go along with the biological lie.
Open up a casino.
Open up a casino.
Have a casino night.
This is the Alberta Catholic School Board,
Yeah, have a
right?
casino night.
So it's not that simple.
Sell
I'm sorry.
cookies.
I'm sorry.
They're
It's
not.
that
They're not
simple.
going to change
It
it.
is not that simple.
It's arguing something that's not
Right.
going to change. I'm not saying like there's so. If this is it's only because of the transgender thing. Okay, cool. I understand. I know the ramifications, the repercussions. But A, it's not going to change in the near future. B, instead of fucking arguing about this shit, we just need to educate the people we need to educate and continue on. This whole if we need to educate our kids, if the Catholic school system is being pulled from the defunding, do what you need to do and get the funding if you
All
want
right,
the funding.
that's
or then
way
don't.
All right, hold on.
easier said than done.
I think
But-
the easiest way to best understand this is that now they're teaching untruths in school.
What do you mean now?
Well, listen.
They've been teaching untruths in school since school.
Okay. I know.
But that doesn't justify the teaching of
doesn't
more
ju-
untruths.
It's not a justification of
Right?
it, but
So
don't sit
to me
here
that-
and
to me
it's
saying
not a
that- to me saying that makes no
justification.
sense.
But it's not a
To me saying that
justification.
makes
But
no sense then.
don't be like,
Right?
oh,
Like-
now they're teaching untruths.
Right?
They've been teaching
can I fucking
untruths in
finish?
school.
Go
They've
ahead.
been teaching
Go ahead.
untruths.
All right.
How is this a new thing?
Okay, it's not a new thing. I'm not saying it is. What I'm saying is they're now teaching untruths in school that are going directly against science, and that's my point. Is if we're gonna look at education seriously,
This is an atheist telling me that they're teaching shit in school that goes against science.
Right.
Like, that's not the first thing that.
listen. All I'm saying is this, man. Is if we're gonna start teaching or treating schools like somebody's and teaching teaching kids based on what feelings and how people emote to what they want to be, there's no point having a school that's based on fact.
But that part needs to change.
No, absolutely.
We definitely need to teach feelings, but we also need to teach understanding, expressing, and addressing your feelings. You dig what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that
No,
way,
it all boils
we
down
need-
to your original
yeah,
point. Way
that
back,
way-
you have to teach people how to deal with their emotions or feelings
Yeah.
before it gets to this point.
No, absolutely.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
all
We're
that.
at this
Not
point
even-
now.
But at this point now, you can still teach the children how to address their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then when they know that if they're offended, they're not just having some big outburst. Because big outbursts turn into, I'm gonna tell teacher, I'm gonna tell dad, I'm gonna tell mom,
Right.
I'm gonna tell the government, I'm gonna lobbyist group, da da da. This, that, and the third. I understand that.
So
And
then-
I don't disagree with the transgender thing and the school thing. I really feel like I'm over here talking about Bill C-16, da da da, and I'm thinking, oh, we can't say this about the government, we can't say that, da da da. We just can't call a fucking tranny a tranny. Okay, cool. Like, I understand what the fuck they're
No, but that
implementing
again,
laws
that is
fucking-
compelled
here's-
speech,
but
right?
here's-
I
no,
should
no,
be
no,
able to
stop,
call
stop,
anybody
stop,
anything I
stop,
want.
stop, stop.
We're
whoa,
talking
whoa.
freedom of speech. We're not talking
Right.
about.
So let me get back to
We're
freedom of
talking
speech.
freedom of speech. So we're not talking about what they're teaching in schools, because what they're teaching in
No,
schools.
but this is an offshoot of
It's
that.
an offshoot of it. It's
Right?
not an offshoot of
So
freedom
this
of
is-
speech.
it
It's an
is
offshoot.
actually.
No,
It
it's
absolutely
new,
is.
It's new.
It absolutely is, because the Catholic
It
school board is
is
saying you are
new.
now infringing on our right to teach reality,
Okay, but that's not.
which is
that's just
a form of
teaching
freedom of
curric-
speech.
Okay.
All right, hold on, guys.
Okay.
All right, hold on. So Bill C-16 says you have to address somebody with the pronoun they wish to be addressed as. Now, being as how there are only two genders, 3 if you have both sex organs.
Intersex, yeah.
You're right, if you're intersex.
Which
That
is
bi-
0.001 of
that
the
is biologically
whatever.
correct. Now, to have somebody say they can change their... I don't,
I'm letting you know right now. I'm letting you know right now. I'm not
Just hold
spending
on.
this whole
No, I'm
podcast
not.
talking about.
I'm getting back to
transgender
this. I'm not
shit.
getting back to
Like,
this. Just hold
freedom
on.
of speech
Just
can
hold on a
be against
second.
whole
Fuck. Just
different
relax.
things.
You can have people that want to call themselves whatever they want. The freedom of speech is infringed on us because it's compelling us to use a pronoun that does not fit into our moral hierarchy.
Not even moral hierarchy, like actual science.
Actual science. Okay, that being said, we're moving on from Bill 16 because we do have a whole podcast about Bill C-16 in our transgender podcast a couple months ago, whatever it was. So go back and listen to that. We're going to do an update on it actually soon. What I do want to get into is freedom of speech in America. Mm-hmm. Okay, can we go into this now? You guys all right? You settle down?
Whatever you want.
All right. You seem perturbed. You want to hug it out?
I don't get mad.
Are you triggered?
Got recall. Yes. Okay, so let's get into it. So the American approach. The United States Supreme Court historically and consistently strikes down laws which restrict speech, including hate speech, unless it falls into one of the categorical exceptions noted. Mm-hmm. Example: incitement, where there is an imminent. I can't even fucking read my own writing. Danger of physical violence, even hate-filled. I know, even hate-filled speech which merely advocate use of force, but does not cause or threaten to cause imminent violence, is not sufficient to warrant exception to the First Amendment, and that what comes from Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969. Further, attempts by universities in the United States to regulate hate speech were frequently overturned in the courts.
Right.
Notwithstanding the Supreme Court's long history of refusing to back down on its protection of hate speech, there is substantial public option which would support an American anti-hate speech law. 51% of Democrats support an anti-hate speech law, according to a 2014 poll. So, do you guys agree with the criminalization of hate speech?
No.
Criminalization of hate speech.
Right.
I think
So as it stands right
I don't
now,
think-
the U.S. has no criminalization.
I don't think hate speech should be criminalized. I do think the result of what you said should bring the repercussions. If you incite a riot, you should be responsible for that whole riot.
But I feel you. Yeah.
Consequences to your actions. I get what
if
you're
you stand
saying.
on the pulpit and say kill all Jews, and
Right.
anybody from your public speech goes and does any murdering or defamation of a synagogue or anything like that, I think you should be held responsible.
So then Farrakhan should be thrown in jail then.
Who?
Absolutely.
Farrakhan? Yeah. He says some shit. He says some shit. I mean, at the end of the day, you need to understand. Now that's where it's tricky, because with someone like Farrakhan, someone like I don't want to bring him in the same thing, but both of these dudes do parallel each other. David Duke,
Yep.
Donald Trump, even when you're talking to a large mass of people, you need to have it in your forefront that, let's say, and this may not be an accurate stat, but the stat you should have in your head is 85% of my fans and followers are extremists. What can I say that will get my point across and get my views across, but not incite extremists to extreme activities?
Right.
So, and that's maybe near impossible, but you may want to stay away from, you should do A to B.
Yeah.
We should do A to B. We should burn this. I've never met one motherfucker that lit a roof on fire because George Clinton told him to.
Right.
But I know
Yeah.
a lot of motherfuckers that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think the speech should be criminalized, but I definitely, that's for me pounding. I definitely think that you should be held responsibility for the actions.
Now
that your
again,
speech
this
incites.
is where I draw the line, right? Is that hate speech and speech inciting violence are two different things,
Right.
right? They're not mutually exclusive, but if we look at it in the sense that speech inciting violence, I could say, hey, let's go and kick that other team's ass physically,
Right.
right? That is not hate speech per se, but that is speech inciting violence, right? Go and beat my neighbor up, please. That's not hate speech, but that is speech inciting violence,
Right.
right? So hate speech would be in the frame of all Jews are evil,
Right.
right? Okay, end of story. Whatever.
Yeah, that shouldn't be criminalized.
Right.
That should be shamed.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Someone,
I agree, right?
I
Like-
think if they have, I think the next day, like if Philadelphia has some anti-Semitic speaker,
Yeah.
the next day they need to have Farrakhan. No, that's the same thing.
Yes.
The next day they should have.
They had Farrakhan. Let's have Farrakhan the next day again.
let's have a rabbi come up and let's have the rabbi, and hopefully the rabbi has a mouth like Andrew Dice Clay and wants to say a lot of things about anti-Semitics, right? I think I do
Oy
think if there's hate speech or hate rhetoric while violence is being committed, I think that should be criminalized. And I do think graffitiing hate speech towards like all the anti-Semitic shit on the synagogues and all the kill all Muslims, all must die, I do think people that do that shit should not jail for the rest of your life, but I think there should be
a penalty.
At least there should be a penalty, and that penalty should include some kind of counseling.
Okay.
You can't hate somebody you can't hate somebody and love yourself fully. There's something deeper inside of you that will make you hate somebody, and it could be generational. That makes you hate somebody based off of race, religion, or even Vex is extremely against homosexuality. I've never once heard him say he hates gay people.
I don't.
And I've never heard him defame. I've never heard him say anything that was unfactual.
I have 2 gay cousins in Trinidad. Like,
Some of are they dating?
Some of my best friends are gay. He said Trinidad, not Alabama.
Yeah, all right, my bad.
that's
Shit.
hate speech, man. What the hell?
No, that's true.
So here's
Okay,
so here's
my mom's my uncle.
Here's my take on it. My take is this. It's I don't want to be limited from what I can say by a government. It always falls back to that on me, right?
Yeah.
Is what can I do freely in my society, right? I know we're all born into these imaginary constructs called government and countries, and there's laws governing us, obviously, and there's been a way of doing things for the past however many eons that structures society in a way that makes it run smoothly.
Yeah.
With quotations.
Yeah.
Now,
Like,
my issue is that having speech that is looked upon as hate speech, having You okay with that? Having speech that is looked upon as detrimental to somebody's well-being, that to me is wrong to do, but you should still be able to say it.
Yeah,
I don't care. Government
yeah.
should have no infringement on me personally from what I say. Now.
So without responsibility?
No, that doesn't take away from what could happen to me personally from somebody being offended. I have the right to say whatever I want, but if I can't control how you're going to react to it. You know what I mean?
So you think like on television they should be throwing out niggas and kikes?
No, absolutely.
all the time?
Networks and shit are different. Absolutely. But I'm talking in a personal aspect, right? If I'm walking down the street, day-to-day life, I shouldn't. Anything I say should not be used to legally put me behind
And
bars.
then don't forget in
You
Archie
can come
Bunker, he
to
used
me-
the N-word all the time, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like, if I want to say something, I'm going to say everything I can except for hate speech inciting violence. That's it. Like, you can say anything you want as long as it does not incite violence.
I know that we went off on like the government shit and everything like that, but let's say like from a person standpoint, like fuck the bills, fuck the lawyers speak. Yeah. What do we, as us three individuals, what do we consider hate speech? I don't even think we've touched on that. What we think hate speech is.
I think hate speech is
like what's an example of hate spoken hate.
Those fucking or those Jews are a bunch of faggots. Go burn.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's hate speech.
But so those Jews are a bunch of faggots. Was it hate speech before you or after you said go burn?
After.
well, I think you know what to define it, at least in my worldview, my point of view. It would be any speech that intentionally denigrates a group of people.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Right?
listen. This is not what we actually feel right now. Whatever we're saying right now, these words don't mean anything to us.
No,
this is just we're using examples. This is not how I feel personally. I don't want the fucking emails. Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't want any of the coalitions coming against me, dog.
Right.
Like, I'm
Fuck
good.
the coalitions. I can handle them. I can't handle emails.
Look what they did to Ice Cube.
Yeah.
But yeah, that being said, you know, you look at it and say, well, man, all them Africans are smelly or something, right? That is a form of hate speech, right? Because I'm taking a group of people, generalizing them, and then giving them or saying something bad about them.
But it's not violent.
Right? It's not violent, right? So that, again, is and I mean, that's a very, Fisher-Price type example.
Right.
But at the spur of the moment, that's the example I could come up with.
And don't get me wrong, I have morals and I have values behind me where I regulate myself in what not to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's things I keep saying that we should be allowed to say anything as long as it doesn't say violence, and that's true. But you should also know that I'm not going to go around and say these things just because I can. Right? I think there's a big misunderstanding where if we're not governed to do something, we will end up doing it. We'll end up deciding we'll fall and crumble. Right? I don't think humans are based like that. Humans are based on morals and values and how we're raised with respect. Right? Granted, some people are raised with a little less respect than most people. But there's a general understanding in society and how to be around people and how to interact with them that gives us the idea of this is what we can and what we cannot say. And it's publicly unacceptable to say this, but it should not be illegal to say this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. The government should not be compelling me because at the end of the day, again, we get on that slippery slope of the government starting to chip away. And that's what governments always do.
Right.
The larger governments grow, the more rights they chip away at. Right? And it always starts, if you look at any communist regime, it always starts with the removal of speech, right? You cannot say this, you cannot say that, etc., right? Very soon you reach a point where 6 million Jews have been taken to the showers, right? Because not only now are you not allowed to say it, but now you will be penalized for saying it,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
So and that's dangerous. Like
it is.
one whatever law that comes into effect that says we can say something subjective is not allowed and you'll be penalized for it.
Yeah.
We're on a very slippery slope.
Right.
So I do prefer the US's way of doing things. Right? And I also prefer the Caribbean way of doing things. We're just too lazy to care. Right?
That's true.
Like, who gives a shit?
It's pretty much what it boils down to. Let me give you something here. Just give me about a minute here. Freedom of speech is not a privilege, but a human right.
Yes.
Said an editorial in Toronto Star, 2012, and it stated, "Free speech shouldn't be taken as a license to preach racism, homophobia, or anti-Semitism, or others' evils in the media or elsewhere." as though free speech were a privilege granted discretionally by governments. This might sound reasonable on the face of it. However, a censor could substitute other types of speech into that sentence. Example, free speech shouldn't be taken as a license to preach subversion, blasphemy, or other evils in the media or anywhere else.
Yeah.
You see where it could go wrong? If that were the law, we certainly wouldn't take free speech as a license because free speech would not, in fact, exist.
Yeah.
Finally, there's an argument that anti-hate speech laws don't produce toleration at all.
Yeah.
Although it may be a result of it. All right. The case for hate speech prohibitions mistakes the cart for the horse, imagining that anti-hate laws are a cause of toleration when they are almost always a consequence.
Yeah.
In democracies, minorities do not get fair, enforceable legal protections until after majorities have come around by supporting them.
Yeah.
By the time a community is ready to punish intolerance legally, it will already be punishing intolerance culturally. At that point, turning haters into courtroom martyrs is unnecessary and often counterproductive. In any case, we can be quite certain that hate speech laws did not change America's attitude toward its gay and lesbian minority because there were no hate speech laws. Today, firm majorities accept the morality of homosexuality, know and esteem gay people, and endorse gay unions and families. What happened to turn the world upside down? That was from Roche 2013.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I look at it and I think of someone like Tommy Robinson when you brought up, you know, throwing them into jail with only cause matters.
Right.
You know who Tommy Robinson is?
I do not.
He's
I know who Tommy Davidson is.
Tommy Robinson
Fantastic.
is a yeah. No, he's a guy in the UK.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
who
yes,
has
yes,
been
he's
been very
German, yes,
outspoken
yes.
against the rape gangs that
You and I have gone over this.
yeah.
Okay.
Right. And I mean, he's tried to expose them at every turn legally, right? And by his own admission, he was at one time in a group that was a hate speech group, right? That he had only found out afterwards. So he left the group, right? But this guy was thrown into jail on some trumped up charges with no real trial, and it turned him into a martyr, right? Now the support for him and his views have exploded in the UK, right? So, yeah, a lot of times when you look at what governments will do to people who are dissident, shall we say,
Right.
it definitely turns them into martyrs. You know, it definitely stokes the fire for their cause, right? So,
Right.
yeah, it can be counterproductive. It can be counterintuitive, right? Even though you look at it and you go, yep, let's throw this guy in jail, let's silence him, right? But, I mean, it goes back to the whole thought of, you know, you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality, right? So, and that's one thing that I try to live by as much as possible, right? If I do A, B will happen. I can deny B will happen, but it will happen anyway.
Right.
Right?
No,
So-
absolutely. And it's to the point now where it's like, where do we stop, and how far can the government take infringing on our rights to speak? Is where I look at it, right?
So they can take it very far.
Exactly. And
Right?
that's, and
Any
that's,
government can take it as far as they want, provided that we allow them to do it.
right. And I think it's a vast minority of people that feel a certain way about certain, I'm going to use trigger words, right? That may be
Let's say incendiary.
Incendiary. That may be
Incendiary.
culturally unacceptable.
Yeah.
But should not be criminalized.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Somebody calling me a nigger.
Right.
That is culturally unacceptable in North America, right? Should that be
But
criminalized?
You are. I mean,
Should that be criminalized? No. At the end of the day, you call me whatever the hell you want to call me.
right. Just don't
Right?
don't expect to walk away scot-free with a
Just
punch in your
just
lip.
don't call me late for dinner. Right?
You're an idiot.
So, but no, but yeah, you will get repercussions,
Right.
right? You can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality.
Exactly.
Right. So,
Exactly.
but also let me even break it down further. Right. I've had the N-word slur thrown my way a couple times living in Canada, which was unusual for me because in Trinidad
You're not.
I am not. Right. I was considered what they call a red man. Right. Mixed race. So the N-word would never be thrown my way unless it was the Trinidadian term "old nigger," which just means somebody who's acting stupid.
Yeah.
Right. But it was never a racial term, a racial slur. Up here it was a racial slur. Right.
Yeah.
I remember the first job I had to kick some kid out of the arcade, and the manager was there, and he started threatening her. So I'm standing, I'm like, yo, get behind me, whatever. And he's outside of the arcade, threatening to come in. He grabs something, want to fight or whatever. I'm like, yeah, well, come back inside if you want to fight. And he's standing there hurling racial insults at me. Right? Who cares? You're an uneducated buffoon. I'm not going to bring myself to your level.
Right, and that's one of the
Right.
things I think we should, kind of reinforce here is that education goes a long way when dealing with people who are bigots and people who are against any kind of, minority.
Quote unquote group.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
There's ways to address things, ways not to address things. There's once you learn more and more about who in society you're dealing with and who in society is, who you want to be around. Obviously, you have a mindset around that, right?
Yeah.
The higher education you go, you can see there's less and less of the bigotry, the slander, all that other stuff. There's less of that with more education. And that's one of the things that goes,
I agree with your concept.
right
Yeah.
in concept,
Yeah.
in theory. Let's
Yeah.
say that, right? And it's weird how we're so close to the States, but we're so different when it comes to freedom of speech because there's so much we're doing now in Canada that hurts people with laws that are being implemented.
Yeah.
In a way that renders us useless to defend ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm not the one that's going to pick up a gun and go shoot somebody. Right. I
Yeah.
use my words are my weapons. They always have been. That's why I was a rapper. Right.
Yeah.
That's how I used to win battles. That's how you used to defend yourself in the streets, and that's how you used to coming up. Words were
Sticks and Stones was the nursery rhyme you went to.
Yeah.
Total contradiction from what you just said.
Words will never hurt me. What I'm saying is that's how you used to defend you.
You said words are your weapon.
Yes.
You use words instead of physical violence.
Wor-
That's why you're a battle rapper. That
words will
you're-
never hurt me. That means
don't-
I can say whatever I want. It's still not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt me physically. You know what I mean?
No,
I'm still gonna walk away fine.
If you say something,
If something gets said to me.
okay, but you use your words as a weapon.
Yeah.
That means your words. You have used your words to hurt people or to defend yourself.
In a
that's a
situation
total-
in a situation where
Doesn't
it was
matter the
it was-
situation.
Yes, it is.
No,
Absolutely
it doesn't
is.
because you can. If you say they won't hurt you, then you can't say, well, in a situation where they will hurt me, they will hurt me.
No,
It's
what
either
I'm,
A
no,
or
no,
B.
no. I'm
That's what
not. No, I'm not saying that. I'm
You
not
can't
saying. What I'm
say-
saying.
so
What
it's
I'm
either
saying.
sticks
No,
and
no, no. You're
stones
taking my
or
words
your
and
words are
twisting
your
it. What I'm
weapon.
saying. What I'm saying is, in a battle, that's what you're supposed to do. Use your words to rhyme better than the other person. To rhyme better than your opponent. Right. That's all it was. Right. Or trying to get out of a situation. I use my words to get out of situations. Right. I'm not gonna be the one that picks up a gun and shoots somebody because I don't know how to.
Have the same effect with your words.
Right.
Your words are your weapon.
I said that 10 fucking minutes ago.
So sticks and
Nigga,
stones.
you are way off. Stop. You're contradicting yourself, not contradicting me.
Not
Yeah.
okay. We'll ask 1,000 people that listen tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine. What I'm saying is that I'm using my words in
We're
different.
at like 1,500. No, my point is this. My point is this.
Yeah. So you're gonna have 1,500 people emailing you.
My point. Yeah, they can email me, Prince Hayes. That's not even my email.
DigitalDiamondNetwork@gmail.com.
My point is this: the reason why I say you contradict yourself is because you're using your words as a weapon. You may not, you're not thinking of your words as the same concept because you're substituting your words.
I'm
instead of
talking
saying-
physical versus mental. I get it.
right, but you're saying that I'm not going to go pick up a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I use my words.
But I don't think that's
a battler. So when you battle somebody, you obliterate them on the stage.
Right.
Nobody loses a battle. Nobody comes away from that battle feeling like they're not hurt. Every time someone's been in a battle with someone with lyrical prowess, their feelings are fucking hurt.
Right.
No, but this is the
having
thing.
hurt feelings is different than having a broken arm.
This is the thing. Hold on. I think that whole nursery rhyme is being misconstrued and taken out of context. Right. The nursery rhyme is not to say that you will not get hurt feelings from words. Right. The nursery rhyme is a code of behavior. Right. Should you feel offended, ignore it. They're only words. That's what the nursery rhyme is about.
Right, but you know how
Right?
you see how detrimental that is.
No, I don't actually. In fact,
if
I
you-
see it as very good advice.
No, it's bad advice. If you feel offended or your feelings are hurt, the last thing you should do is ignore it. The first thing you should do is address it.
Right.
In a proper manner.
With
Ignore it.
words.
No, either with words or just saying. Like if I
So
was
just-
in this listen, I tell you like this now. If I was in a fucking situation, and I was down as fuck, and my feelings were, if I was broken as a man, I was broken. My first thing to do was, am I gonna go to my pistol and break everybody else, or am I gonna call you two?
Exactly. So
So,
you're using
but
your
if I,
words.
yeah, no,
but you're using
my,
words differently.
I'm saying that if I get hit by a car, if I get shot, if I get beat up, if I break my leg,
Stop
that's
banging the table.
going to heal.
Please, no one shoot,
No one
run
shoot me.
over,
Yeah, we don't
or
want
break
to. I'm sorry, I keep banging
Will
things.
Hayes' legs.
I'm going to heal.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call you guys and be like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I'm gonna heal. But psychologically, if your feelings are hurt, and if it's something you can't get over, you need to talk to somebody. That's what I'm saying. Words are weapons.
Yeah, no.
So
And
that's
I
I'm just saying that
understand.
whole nurse. I was just fucking with him when I was saying he's contradicting himself. But I'm saying that whole nursery rhyme is one of the reasons why it's also one of the reasons why we're here. Because it taught kids in the 80s and 90s not to address their feelings. So now when they feel a type of way, so I'm ignore it. And now they have all this built up, bottled up fucking resentment.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck it, I'm going to take it to the man.
No, again,
You can
to be
never say
clear.
this again.
To be clear.
Hold on, wait. How'd that go?
So when it says words will never hurt me, the words they be sticks and stones break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But
No, they toughen
because
you up.
those
They
words-
toughen you up mentally.
Yeah, no, they may, but they
In the long
may
run, in the
not
long
because
run.
at the end, because at the end of the day, these words will never hurt me. But I keep hearing these words. Instead of addressing it, I'm gonna go to the government and say we need to make it a law so they can never say these words that hurt me ever again. That's why that nursery rhyme is fucked up. That's why we have Bill's 316. Where the fuck it is?
C16.
C16.
Stop drinking.
Because I only had 2 sips.
I know. I'm
So
stop
you understand?
drinking.
You
I need to
understand?
start
You understand what I'm
drinking.
saying?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I think you're taking things a little way too literally right now. But
No,
that's,
but-
and that is usually that should be how it's taken, right? And I understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, we had that nursery rhyme growing up. We also knew how to address our feelings. We also knew how to deal with when something happened to us. We knew how to talk to our friends about it.
Maybe y'all did. I didn't.
Well, I didn't either. I didn't talk to anybody growing up. I was very
I did.
very closed in.
You know, but-
we dealt with it by going out. Myself. I went out. I solved it by going to my buddy's house and listening to music.
I solved it
You know what I
by
mean? By
having sex
rapping.
with multiple women, drinking
Exactly.
too much, staying out late tonight, getting arrested, getting thrown in jail, getting bad fucking habits and addictions.
Yeah, so you had a great fucking growing up.
No, I did not. I'm
No,
telling
but
you.
this is
so-
why I'm going back to that, saying that it's advice.
Yeah.
Right? It is advice. And I mean, with anything you can pick holes in it, right? Given hypothetical situations. Right? In the real world, if I go, listen, you call me the N-word, number one, that's not quite reality. You're just addressing a quarter of me. So, yeah, sure, maybe a quarter of me will be offended. The other 3/4 of me is going, yeah, you're a dumb nigger. You know what I'm saying? So, my mindset is always say whatever nonsense you want to say.
But
right?
But has your mindset gone to the government?
No, but
Has
this,
your
this,
mindset
is, this, is,
created
this
a
is
law?
why this is why I agree.
That's why you agree.
This
That's
is why
why
I agree with the sticks and stones may break my
Right.
bones, but words will never hurt me.
And I'm
say
glad,
whatever nonsense you want to say.
I'm glad that you agree.
You know what I'm
Right.
glad on? I'm glad Will Hayes is sticking to his point.
I'm glad that you agree. That makes me happy. But you have that one dude. Get called a dumb nigga this time, dumb nigga that time. He's like, nah, I'm not a dumb nigga. I'm smart nigga. Da, 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 da. But now,
and to top it off, the dude is white. Like, what the hell?
You know, after the 15th time, he's like, oh fuck, I'm tired of being called a dumb nigga. He goes finds a dumb nigga. They keep calling me dumb nigga group. Now he has a group of dumb niggas talking about how they don't like to be called dumb niggas doing dumb nigga shit. Then this group turns into 15,000 people, and next thing you know, they on social media find out there's a whole fucking network of dumb niggas being called dumb niggas that don't like to be called dumb niggas. Well, guess what's going to be illegal to say? Dumb nigga. That's the same shit with if some. That's just the extreme.
I want to address. I want to address
saying
something.
midget has never been offensive.
Agreed.
Except to the
In fact,
midgets.
I remember one Halloween at this club that I DJ'd at and Parnell used to MC for me. Parnell comes in and he's like, yo, I nearly went to rentamidget.com to get a mini me for my costume. I'm like, what the hell? There's a place called rentamidget.com.
There was a place called rentamidget.com. And you know what? I can't even use that word. The word is little people. My girl has a little person in her family. She's a cousin. And he's a great guy.
You have a
I
little person
have-
in your family too. It's your son.
I have.
Yeah, it's true. I
know
want to
people-
address
He's not a
something.
midget.
They
though.
don't care about it. I've never
it's true.
met one
It's
that
absolutely
cared
true.
about it.
I want to address
hold on.
something.
Hold on. I got one more thing to say. So
You always got one more thing to say.
a lot of these things now, I'm Bill.
C16.
There you go. All this shit has been because
Let's just call it the dumb bill.
Right.
Yeah, all this shit has been because the general public is scared to offend or be perceived that they offended the general public. That's why you have
Absolutely.
all these trigger words
Absolutely.
that make no sense. Like now you can't call a crazy person crazy. If someone's running through campus with their dick out and
He's
has
crazy.
a goat head, what are you gonna call him now? That dude's just
Yeah.
a tad off.
Yeah.
Like what are you supposed to say? The motherfucker crazy.
Yeah.
The motherfucker. You can't say insane. Insane is clinical.
Yeah, exactly. It's a medical word.
Yes.
Right? Now, this is the messed up thing. I was watching a video today on Portland,
Oregon.
Oregon.
That's
Right.
That's
Can
a
I,
dope place.
before you get into the story, can I just address one thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Please do.
We went an hour and 15 minutes without actually saying nigga. And then Will disgustingly broke that. It was fantastic. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It was a record, dog.
I wasn't the first one to say it.
You were.
I think I was.
It was
actually.
no
fucking
nigger.
Vex.
It was nigger.
No,
but
Vex said it.
You said nigga.
Oh,
Well-
I'm sorry.
And
The
the
sorry.
the hard R.
He said it with
he
the
said
hard-
hard R. You
Okay.
said without it.
All right.
That was good. I liked it. Stop that shit. Bump me.
We
No,
Don't
get
hold
the
me. We're
bump
on
for
video,
that.
dog. Don't hold that guy.
You're not getting a bump for that. With a fucking plastic
It's
Fiji
full of
bottle?
water. That shit will hurt.
It's gonna bruise my
Sorry,
eye.
Kobe. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I was to show you how insane things
How do
have
you keep them
become.
track? How do you know? Sorry. How do you know when the last time I said nigga? Like, did you have a? You have a
He has
nigga-
he has a running
a
tally
nigga
on his
timer?
computer. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, he does.
nigga.
See, 5. Anyway, no. To show you how this compelled speech has actually messed people up, right? In Portland, I was watching a video of a clearly insane man running down the road with a garbage can cover, right? One of those aluminum tin, whatever, making a ruckus in the middle of the road. Police are there with I'm assuming, the intention to arrest him. And bystanders are going, you need to leave him alone. Don't touch him. Leave him alone. This guy's creating a ruckus. He should be in jail. He should be out of the public, right? But because that mentality of insanity is now not, we shouldn't be even thinking that now, right? This dude is allowed to run down the road, no shirt on, no shoes.
Well, he needs to be detained.
He needs to be detained.
Pop a couple pills and put in a hospital.
Agreed. Any normal person would think that,
Yeah.
right?
Was this winter in Portland too, or is it summertime?
This was summertime,
Okay.
right? This is a couple of months ago. But yeah, that's to show you how insane things have actually become,
It's
right?
It's fucked up.
right? It's messy, man. It's absolutely messy because we have literally lost the plot. We have gone from what is objective reality to now subjective reality, right? But there is no such thing as subjective reality. There is no such thing as your reality, my truth, your truth. It's just truth. It's either truth or lies. It's either right or wrong, right? And we have gotten
I don't
so
know
far
about
away from
that.
that. Absolutely.
No, I think
Absolutely.
I think there's subjective.
There are
there's subjective
scenarios
truths.
where you'll find that, but with the important things in life,
with the main
Right?
main moral important
absolutely,
things, yes,
absolutely, right?
all 5 of them.
yeah,
Let me give some shout outs here. What up, Bobby? What up, Daniel Vex King? Izzy's always on there. Cindy. My cousin, Darren Bahadur. Taylor McNally was here. Who else was here? Shannon Pickerel, Chris Ebert, Spencer Jones, Chris
Dr.
Matt
Jones,
McKay,
Shadow.
Nick Thomas, Eric Johnston, Sean Helfrich, my girl Kelly, Chris Collins, my cousin Samantha, the Occluda Angela Kennedy, Uncle Chris, Tav was here, Idol, Ryan Straub, Jay Duan, Alan Suminick, he says, what up? Tacobo.
yeah. Big up yourself.
I'm going to read up a couple comments here from my personal feed. You got anything on your personal feed at all you want to go through?
No, I closed that shit a long time
Okay.
ago. It was. It's not a personal feed. I just shared that. There's no personal.
Well, it's still the comments are all. If you shared, it's still personal comments.
No,
Sorry,
there's
my
the
watch
same
party
ones.
is personal comments.
Yeah, I don't have a watch party.
So Karthik still wants to know when you are getting paid.
Who?
Karthik wants to know when Will is getting paid.
He's been
I'm
getting
always
paid.
getting paid,
All right.
dog. All I do is secure the bag.
Jesse Howell, what's up, man? He said whistleblowers get persecuted in the USA, which goes against their free speech.
Yep.
Is that true? But they're going against government. So
But
I mean,
yeah, I think so. It's
I
less.
think they're-
It's a government thing.
Yeah.
Definitely a government mandate, and I see that.
And
Yeah.
I think they're giving like the whistleblowers give too much government information, where the government's like this.
Yeah, you shouldn't be letting this out, yeah.
yeah.
But I think
Which I
fuck, shout
understand,
out
but I
Snowden.
don't agree with.
It's
But
Snowden
almost
definitely.
it's almost like what do they call it when you go against your nation?
it's treason.
Treason.
Yeah.
So Nick Thomas says, what do you think would happen if you made a diss track to the Prime Minister without libel slander in it, just stating false information? Think anything would happen?
If you
So
could,
it
it
is
goes
against
diss
Trudeau.
track.
Yeah.
I don't think
like a
Trudeau
diss
listens to rap.
Yeah. It's Nick.
Read that again, Nick. Who?
Nick Thomas.
Read that again, fam. I don't.
What do you think would happen if you made a diss track to the Prime Minister?
Stop. Nick Thomas, man, get fucking serious, fam. Fucking mean if you made a diss track for the fucking get the fuck.
Trudeau would throw himself down the stairs.
Dog, I throw myself down the stairs. Who wants to hear a diss track against dog? Ice Cube, Arrest the President, horrible.
That's true.
Every fucking song that goes against
Eminem BET freestyle. Garbage.
horrible. The only people
Yeah, that was
people that should
terrible.
make fucking songs against the government is the fucking folk singers, because they seem to know how to capture what the people are thinking.
Which on a
Yeah.
complete
and
aside,
still sounding all right.
on a complete aside, Nick, I need you to do something for me. Go and download Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast. It's called Star Talk Star Wars, Star Talk All Stars, and listen to the beginning rap. They have that. That is the kind of rap you get when you try to diss a prime minister. It's garbage. Trust me, you won't like it at
That's
all.
why I'm not a fucking rapper anymore, man.
Karthik again says SJWs as a pejorative again. Yes.
What?
Pejorative.
Abba-Jaborov?
As a pejorative.
Oh, as a
What up, Jonathan Stewart? Also, John is claiming that that transgenders are biologically recognized as the other gender, which is wrong. The word is identified as.
He's thinking
Yeah,
about
it's
people-
nonsensical
he's thinking
regardless.
He's not thinking about transgenders. He's thinking about hermaphrodites.
All right, and he
probably.
also wants to know what untruth is being taught. Asking to be identified with a different pronoun is not asking you to lie.
It is. So behave yourself.
He goes, from my understanding, the spirit of the law of C16 is to curb hate speech, not to police the usage of pronouns.
Okay, so why
I
are they
agree with
finding
that.
people then?
I agree with what he said.
You guys are garbage with questions. Let me fucking tell you.
That was a
No, I'm
statement.
serious. Yeah, no,
That was a fucking
because
statement.
no, you're bringing nonsense like identify. What does identify mean? Seriously, right? Give your head a shake. I identify you as an idiot then.
No, he's actually a fairly smart gentleman. He also says whistleblowers are protected by law, which it is treason though. So I don't know how you can be protected. I think they're
Ask
protected
him,
by law, but
it
you can't
depends on-
step foot back into the country once you're
I don't know.
whistleblowing, right? I mean,
I
no one
really
even
don't
look
know.
at. It's
Is it
weird, right?
snows?
I don't know
You
the
gotta look
facts
at
on that.
you got to look at the U.S. and Canada. I'm pretty sure it's 100% different.
Yeah, I think so too. And Jay says fucking garbage. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're referring to the podcast or if you're referring to
Who's Jay?
a buddy of mine. Grew up with the kid. I don't know if you're referring to the podcast or if you're referring to whistleblowing laws. So
If you're referring to the podcast, Jay, you're garbage. Yeah.
my
Your
man.
breath is garbage. You live in garbage.
And he also says nursery rhymes are fucking twisted. I agree with if you sing the songs to kids not knowing the meaning behind them, it's weird. You ever looked at the meanings behind nursery
Oh yeah,
rhymes?
no, they're twisted.
They're
man.
very twisted. They're meant to
Ring around the
ward off-
roses.
yeah,
It's crazy.
Ring around the
Ring of the
roses.
Roses is about the plague, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And John Stewart says words don't physically hurt you, but hurt feelings, which is, I think that's what you were getting to is where
The words don't physically hurt you, but physical pain ain't shit. I tell you that.
no, it's true. It's 100%
Physical
true.
pain ain't
But
shit.
the issue is, and I say this all the
Well, it
time.
is.
Everybody,
I mean, shit. I don't want karma to hit me, but
everybody needs a psychiatrist. I think everybody can benefit from it. I do 100%. 100% benefit from it. Not just
not even a
'cause-
psychiatrist. I think everybody can benefit from confiding in a trusted person with their feelings.
Yeah, okay, that's better. I like that.
Because I mean, psychiatry is cool, but
What up,
so
Ryan
I want
Bryce?
to. Sometimes I want to tell somebody something, and I don't want to be prescribed something.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's like I
Here's
just
some
wanna get
Ritalin,
shit off
but
my
I'm
chest.
depressed. Yeah, here's Ritalin anyway. What?
Yeah,
What?
take it. Here's a Ritalin,
Yeah.
Advan. Oh, we're in Canada. Here's some CBD oils too.
Yeah, exactly.
Take all these fucking drugs.
All right, so let me end this one off. In summary, it's agreed that freedom of speech is not absolute. The question is where to draw the line. The United States and Canada each have laws prohibiting such things as incitement to violence, libel, and copyright infringement. However, the United States Supreme Court continues to disallow laws barring expression of hateful opinions, whereas the Supreme Court of Canada continues to uphold anti-hate speech laws. This represents the fundamental difference in American and Canadian views on freedom of speech. However, within each country, and separate from judicial decisions, there is disagreement over whether hate speech should be forbidden by law. And with that, we out this motherfucker.
Yeah.